If you're anything like me, it has been very difficult to convince myself that I don't need the Fuji X100V. So I have been trying to upgrade my current camera as much as I possibly can to make it feel like a new camera without spending $1,000. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video as we go over some photos I took in Huntington Beach over the long Juneteenth weekend. If you've watched any of my photography videos on YouTube, this is a totally different space. It has been so long since I've filmed a sit-down video that I have since moved out of my grandparents' house and gotten my own apartment. And this is my first video filming in here, so welcome to my apartment. Given that it has been such a long time since I've shot anything video-wise or photography-wise, I knew I needed to get my inspiration out somewhere. So with a lot of hints and a little bit of persuasion, I was able to convince Ian that we should go on a quick little trip to the beach. We live in Vegas, which is about a 4-hour drive away from Huntington Beach. So we took turns driving and it was our first time taking our dog Kala to the beach with us. Before we get into the photos, let's talk about the gear and how I upgraded my current camera. The two cameras that I shot with on this trip are my Fuji X-S10 and I also shot with Ultra Reliable. This is my Konica FS1. This was my mom's camera in the 80s and it's in still pretty good condition. I have gone through many film cameras, two of which are in Portland right now for repairs, but this is the only one that has stayed pretty consistent and I haven't had much trouble with it, knock on wood. The thing with the Fuji X100V and 6 is that they have a fixed lens, so you can only shoot with 35mm. And I thought, what better way to make it feel like I'm shooting with an X106 than to shoot with my 35mm lens. Oh my god. This was beneficial in so many ways. A, it felt like I was shooting with a point and shoot. It just made my camera so much lighter in my hand because the zoom lens is so heavy. And B, it just took some of the stress off of shooting. When you limit yourself to just a fixed focal length, you find other ways to stretch your imagination, to think of how to frame things more creatively. I love giving myself limitations when it comes to shooting like that. Like when I first started shooting photos, I only shot in black and white film, so it helped me focus on the composition and the lighting. This provided a similar obstacle in a good way, so I shot with my Fuji 35mm f2 lens. And to add an upgrade onto an upgrade, I got the Urth circular lens filter, and I just love how soft and ethereal it makes the lights look. I got one for my film camera as well. I wanted to maintain some sort of consistency, and if you don't have a lens filter for your cameras, I feel like it's kind of a must, even though I have put it off for so long. No matter what lens filter you're gonna get, it's gonna help protect the glass in the long run, but then you can also get different lens filters for different looks. There's a lot you can play with without having to get a new camera. And I'm speaking to myself right now. Besides that, let's get on with the photos. So I'm gonna talk about the trip and then I'm gonna insert the photos as we're talking about it. We started off our morning pretty early. We wanted to leave by 6, but I think we were actually on the road by like 6:30 or 7. It was my first time driving all the way to Barstow. I have been terrified of driving in California, so I'm making baby steps here. We got to Barstow, Ian and I switched off. Kala took a potty break. She was doing really well for the whole trip. We arrived in California and we stayed at one of my favorite hotels, which is the Kimpton Shorebreak in Huntington Beach. Kala, where are we? Kala's first vacation. Huh, Kala? Kala? First we're gonna get Fizz and then we're gonna go get pizza and then we're gonna go to the beach. Just for this part of the day, I only brought my film camera because I thought it would be way too much to have 2 cameras and then also a dog, and then I also wanted to play in the water. Fizz in hand, pizza in the other. We were making our way towards the beach and there is this beautiful hydrangea bush that we see every time we go to Huntington. It's in this historical house, I believe, but it's fenced off. And I'm just in awe every time I see it. Something I always aim for in my photography, whether it's subconscious or on purpose, is juxtaposition. I just love putting two things that don't belong together into one frame. The flowers are so soft, but then they're chained inside of a fence. It's probably not that deep of a meaning, but I just like the look of the two things together. And then we finally made it to the beach. Kayla's not a huge fan of the water, but she did love sunbathing, so we were at the beach for a good amount of time. I want to say like 3-ish hours. I shot with Portra 400 for this trip, but it was so bright this day, I think we could have easily gotten away with Portra 160. Throughout the trip, Ian and I were switching off the cameras. Like, he would take some of the film photos, I would take some of the digital, and vice versa. Something I've also noticed over the years is that I think what I like to capture is not a person in the frame, but more so it's the impact of a person being there without the person actually being in the frame. I think that's also why I enjoy taking videos and pictures of shadows. It's proof of what exists outside the frame. Eventually we made our way back to the hotel, dropped off all of our beach gear, and then we went back out to enjoy the sunset on the pier and grab a quick little bite to eat. I love walking on the pier. Like, you get really good pictures on the beach itself, but then just walking along the pier gives you a whole other perspective. The way that the sun was slowly setting and it was hitting the water makes it look like molten metal. Literally, as I said, I don't like shooting photos of people in it. I really don't mind shooting photos of surfers. It's so fun to watch surfers do what they do because they're fluid with the water. Oh my god, I'm literally going to sob. It's so beautiful. Look at that. As we were making our way back to the hotel, I looked off in the distance, like back towards the beach. The amount of street lamps and palm trees kind of parallel with each other was really interesting to me. Every time we stay anywhere near a beach, I always make it a point to wake up before or at sunrise so I can walk along the beach and see what little treasures are hiding at low tide. I love to watch walkie-talkies. I'm not a street photographer, but it really helps hearing other photographers' mindsets about what they think about when they shoot. One of my favorite walkie-talkies was with Kebs Kayabyab. He's a photographer based in the Philippines. He does forced perspective photography, which I really enjoy. That was kind of my goal for this morning photo walk. There were a lot of surfers this morning, so I was trying to find a way to frame them with the railing. It was really fun just like looking out and seeing all the surfers too, because they look like little specks of pepper in the water. Finally, Kayla and Ian woke up, so it was time to get our stuff together and leave California. As we were walking to get our last fix of bills, I saw flowers on the side of this building. I believe that they're tiger lilies. Something about the beautiful, thriving flower leaning on the one that's all wilted kind of spoke to me. So that was pretty much it for our trip. It was a short one, but I think it was exactly what I needed to get my inspiration sparked up again. Finding reasons or ways to be creative during times like this, I feel like is the only thing keeping me sane. Thank you for joining me in my new apartment. I may do a tour, who knows? I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.